Hey guys, I'm gonna make a video on Racepak Smart Wire. This thing's pretty awesome. It's been around for a while, but it's new to me. So some of you guys that have already got one of these things or know about it, you may find this boring, but lately, I guess it's because a lot of people are rewiring cars, and they've been asking me, what do you use? And in the past, I've used relay boards from a whole bunch of different companies, and they're nice, but Smart Wire is pretty awesome. So first, don't mind my mess. It's actually a disaster. But I am in the middle of wiring my own car, and I actually tore a muscle in my chest and bicep yesterday at work, so I'm kind of immobilized. I figured this would be a good opportunity to make this video. So, with that said, this is the Smart Wire. This is the box, and this is the only thing that you need to run your entire car when it comes to power distribution. So this is the street kit. So it came with a harness that's actually all pre-labeled, but so this one's like right turn input. I wound up repurposing some of it. You can use whatever you want out of the harness. You don't have to follow what was written on the wiring. Obviously, everything can be rewritten inside of the software. So the way this thing works is it takes inputs, and this box has got, I believe it's like 12 inputs, hardwired inputs built into it. And then there's 30 outputs. So there's 20 amp and 10 amp outputs. The outputs can be paired. So like for fans, if you wanted to have 40 amp capacity, you can pair the two of them. And I'm going to show you, how I did that. Fuel pump, same thing. This is one central location, relay box or board, whatever you want to call it, fuse box, the whole 9 yards. This piece is actually an input expansion module, and this is what I'm using. This is coming from my existing switch panel that I had, and what it does is it takes all of your wiring from your existing switch panel and then runs it across their CAN bus into the Smart Wire, and it adds a whole bunch of inputs. So you can see here, these are your hardwired inputs. So I just started doing this, so some of this stuff is not complete yet, but I figured I'd show some people, since I've gotten about 5 or 6 messages in the past week alone about, I am wiring my car, blah, blah, blah. What do you want to use? Or what do you use? Or, what do you recommend? And I'll be honest, I love this thing. So, if you've already got an existing switch panel, this input module, this expansion module is pretty cool. All of the inputs can be changed from either a voltage trigger or a ground trigger. So if you've already got something set up in the car that's working, you can just drop the Smart Wire right onto it. These were all set up for voltage triggers, and the switch panel I'm using, well, I'm going to be using both of them, but there it is. I got a convertible, so it's a little easier to see. But these are all set up for voltage triggers. So you can change these switches to do whatever you want. You can program them to do whatever you want. If you look here, these are all your outputs. I labeled some of them, I labeled most of them except for 1 or 2. Anyway, all of these outputs, this is the real cool part about this thing. All of these outputs will monitor amperage draw, and they can all be set to be a fuse. So like if we look at the left turn signal output, it's enabled. And if you look here, output function, no more flashers in a car. You can windshield wiper, a single pulse, latch on or constant on. So you can have a flash right here. And when you set the on condition, it right here, left turn, which is our input. I don't know if the glare, if you can see it. Left turn is our input, is equal to 1. Okay. So there's your first brick of logic. And then the other way to turn that left turn signal on is when the hazard switch is equal to 1. Okay, 1 is on. So 1 output, it's doing your hazards and it's doing your left turn signal. So if we wanted to, we could look here. The fuse current is, it defaults to 10 amps, but we can set the fuse current for whatever we want. So if, maybe we short the ground or something, it'll chuck a fuse, but it's not an actual physical fuse. It will error inside of the smart wire. And then you have the ability to reset the fuse, okay? How many times you want to reset it and what kind of delay you want to put on it, right? So this is especially important. It may not be that important for a turn signal. This is really important for a water pump or a fan. So if you're driving down the road and something happened and the water pump goes out, well, instead of melting the car down, you can reset the fuse. Say you reset the fuse 4 times. And then you can set how long of a delay you want. So there's no physical fuses inside of this car at all. It's all through the smart wire, and it's all programmable. So with a water pump, I don't have the water pump wired up yet, but with a water pump or anything you wire to this, we can look at live current draw, okay? So let's start live channel data right there. So right now the status is off, all right? The current is 0 volts, or the current is 0 amperage and 0 voltage on there. So this is the left turn signal. So there it is. Now, I'm going to stay quiet. Notice you don't hear that annoying flasher. See how quiet it is? No more stupid annoying flasher. But if we go to the back of the car, there is our left turn signal. So the left turn signal can be programmed to be fast or slow or whatever we want. And if we do a flash on time, what we're going to do is this, 0.2, let's stop that, send the configuration, and start real-time display. Now look, notice it's flashing a bunch faster, right? So we did all this with the left turn signal flashing the whole time. So now it flashes a whole bunch faster. This is kind of neat. I'm kind of a street car nerd, I guess. But I always thought that was kind of cool to be able to actually change the on and off time for the flasher. You can do the same thing with your hazards. You can do a flash to pass. It's all in really how you want to wire it. Now, one of the big benefits, in my opinion, to something like this, like a smart wire, is that it will log or it'll show you your live amperage use. So it's going to get a little loud, but I'm going to turn the fans on. So here we're going to click on, it's called Hey Crime Racing. That's me. We're going to click on, this is basically the entire smart wire, right? So that's like the whole smart wire. This is all the outputs underneath of it. So we can start all channels live data. So this is every channel that I've got hooked up to it right now, right? So there's interior lights, right? So you see it down there at the bottom. Look at that, 6 amps. That's the draw that we have for the interior lights. Now, for an idea, 6 amps is it's not much, but it's quite a bit when it comes to interior lighting. I'm a little excessive when it comes to interior lighting. I've only done the inside and then I did the trunk as well, but it'll show you what kind of amperage. So if we set the fuse at say 8 amps, if we have a problem, it shorts to ground, it's no more of this throw a 30 amp fuse in everything and hope for the best. So the fan, everybody is always concerned, and the most common question that it seems to come about the smart wire or about anything is really the fans have a big inrush, okay? So this will kind of be hard to see, but if you look at fan 1 output and fan 1A output, that's two 20 amp outputs tied together. I'm going to hit the button. It's going to get loud, so you won't be able to hear me. But I have two fans. So fan 1 and fan 1A is feeding the first fan. And then fan 2, probably see it right there, fan 2 and fan 2 out, that's feeding the second fan. So there's a total of 40 amp capacity per fan, but there's a delay in the fuse. So you'll see that the inrush on it, where's my switch? There we go. Sorry, my mobility is rather limited because I tore my stuff. But if you watch, here we go, you're going to see current climb real high and then come down really fast on both of them. But you'll notice that it doesn't pop a fuse. So if you see fan 1, you noticed fan 1 was drawing about twice the amount of amperage as fan 2. That was actually intentional. I played with grounds. This was a good learning experience for myself, and it would be for you as well. I did this intentionally. Originally, I had both of them grounded to the same location, the way I would every other time I wire a car, and the current was the same. The current amperage draw was the same. I actually moved fan 1 to kind of a crappy ground. What I did was I just didn't grind the paint off of it. And I used one of those star washers, and as you can see, the current increased pretty substantially. So this thing, I got to be honest, I'm very, very happy with the Smart Wire. There's other PDMs out there. I have zero experience with them. I don't really care to, because this one has done anything and everything that I've wanted it to do and still has plenty of capacity. The other cool thing is with this expansion module, I used 14 of them for my switch panel, and it leaves me with a whole bunch left over in the Smart Wire. Well, you can link those. So if you want to add a couple more of them, you could. This right here is going to send a whole bunch of information to that, output from here, input to here, to turn stuff on. That's already wired. So fan, water pump, transmission cooler fan. This is actually probably going to do turn signals as well. My goal here is to max out a dominator on inputs and outputs. So that's probably what I'm going to wind up doing. But all you do is you can output either, say you run out of ground outputs, you can output power to it, and use it as an input on the Smart Wire. So the last thing, which was the first thing that I showed on this video, was their keypad, right? So the keypad is a switch panel. It's very small. Granted, I have big hands, but it's small. So it actually gives you feedback, red if there's a fuse pop, green if we're good. I haven't hooked this thing up yet, but I will, and it ties right into that same switch module. There's some instructions on how to, set it up to use 2 switch panels, and then all you do is use one of these, which is from Racepak. It's their cable, and you order them in different lengths. So this is their roll bar mount for it, and it comes with this, which is a Deutsch connector to their style connector. But yeah, that's all I got. I wanted to show you all this stuff. I thought this thing's pretty cool. If you're in the market, I'm going to be up front here. They are not the cheapest thing on the market, but that has never really been it's never been my thought process as to what I can afford, or what is the cheapest thing that I can buy that'll do it. If I decide that I like something and I want to try it, I just wait an extra week or two and save up the money and buy it. So I will be upfront. It is not some $300 unit that you pick up. But there's dealers out there that can give you great pricing on it. And Again, don't buy from Summit like I try to harp on every one of my videos. So buy from a dealer who's going to support you. In fact, I had questions about when I was first initially loading the software. I read some instructions online that said I needed a license key, and it was in fact inaccurate. I did not need a license key, and I could not figure it out. I posted up on the Racepak, Facebook group, and Joe Opaleski with Hyperactive actually chimed in, and he probably about 11:30 at night and explained that I didn't need it. It was strictly for their data loggers. So that's pretty awesome that a guy like that is willing to answer questions at 11, 12 o'clock at night about something that, hell, I didn't even buy it from him. But I guess my suggestion would be, no matter who you buy it from, support a good dealer. Don't buy it from Summit, because they're not gonna, they don't know anything about this. If I asked them about license key, they'd say put it in a box and send it back. They don't know. So that's all I got for you. I'll quit blabbing. See you guys later.